You can only be lost if you decide that you want to be somewhere where you aren't, somewhere else. And that's more a control element than anything else, because you are where you are, even if you don't exert control. Welcome back to another episode of the Ordinary Connection podcast. I am Keegan, your host, and today we are slowing things down. But before we get into that, as always, we start our episodes with last week's writing prompt, which was my massive collection of mistakes. Highlighting flaws. Inhale, exhale. Are mistakes decisions made and then regretted? Or are they places, moments, or people not vetted? You see, mistakes are my teachers, and I'm a talented learner, defiant to authority, lover of creatures, but I can long for the past, a terrible yearner. I mistake the chase for distance, I wish filled with compassion. I mistake with distraction, combating something in me meant to elicit a reaction. But my flaw is detachment, my response inaction, negative thoughts, plastic interaction. Sides chosen, the battle ensues, pick your faction. Warrior, tank, mage, support. Don't do something dumb. Everyone is hiding something, not trying to get caught. Spiral the drain, it drives me insane. Watching acceptance turn to rejection. A change in one's own reflection, misdirected bad intention, shots fired, replacement hired. Train your replacement, pick up the slack where he fails. Remember, play nice, smile, look inspired. Damn, I'm tired. I wonder which way the coin will flip today. Is he banking on heads or tails? No more breadcrumbs, no more trails. I walk down memory lane, the walk down memory lane ends. I've given some truth. They say that's what it takes. Thank you for listening to my massive collection of mistakes. Yeah. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Um okay, so we've already broken something that we were going to try today. So apparently I'm talking way too quickly. So I need to slow things down a little bit. And because of that, we are also practicing to kind of reduce the ums and ahs because of the fact that it's a clean edit. I'm not polishing a lot of what it is that I'm saying. And apparently that can be very disheartening, difficult to listen to, whatever. Sorry guys, if it's your first time here, welcome, I'm Keegan. We're probably going to talk about nothing for most of the time that we're here. But while we are talking about nothing, we are going to be feeling something. And that's going to be fun. Okay? Um, if it is your first time here, something that it is that we do enjoy is the writing prompt. So feel free to join in at the end of the episode. I will give you a writing prompt. Feel free to write about it. If not, go back to the previous episodes and join in on what it is that we've already done. You will see that I start every episode with reading the writing I have done. So if you watch them back to back, it makes it very easy to understand what it is that I'm doing. Because of the another one, because of the fact that there is more openness, comfort kind of coming my way because of the consistency of the recording that I'm now trying to lean into. It is meaning that we need to now challenge ourselves, we need to level up, we need to grow a little bit more. So, because of the fact that I am reading so freaking slow and it is frustrating me, this week the fun part is because of the thinking that I'm under, where it is that I am not talking to a person. So in turn, I am projecting something, which means I'm projecting something onto the camera. Interesting, right? But the camera doesn't have any kind of emotional response because it doesn't have a facial expression or a body language that I can read. So what does that mean? It means that I need to then understand that the discomfort, comfort, all of those things that it is that I'm feeling on this side is probably because that is the reflection that I'm seeing. Now, how interesting is that? So, in slowing things down, in trying to make this something that is a little bit more worth your time and a little bit more fun for you to tell your friends and stuff about, I am going to try and include some of the things that it is that I'm doing in the normal world. Right now, the irony of that is the book that I am currently reading is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Right now, in that book, there is it's fundamentally the story about Siddhartha. I'm not going to tell you about the book. If you want to read it, you will read it. But anyway, where I am in the book, it is pretty much his picking of path, coming of age, that type of area of the book. And there is two kind of excerpts that I took out that lean into what it is that I want to speak about today, because the slowing down gives the opportunity to ask better questions. Okay, so the first portion of the book that I want to read is as follows. A goal stood before Siddhartha, a single goal, to become empty, empty of thirst, empty of wishing, empty of dreams, empty of joy and sorrow, dead to himself, not to be a self anymore, to find tranquility with an emptied heart, to be open to miracles in unselfish thoughts. That was his goal. Okay? Second one, I'll come back to it, don't worry about it. Second one is, what is meditation? What is leaving one's body? What is fasting? What is holding one's breath? It is fleeting from the self. It is a short escape of the agony of being a self. It is a short numbing of the senses against the pain and the pointlessness of life. The same escape, the same short numbing in the same short numbing is what the driver of an ox cart finds in the inn, drinking a few bowls of rice wine or fermented coconut milk. Then he won't feel himself anymore. Then he won't feel the pain of life. Then he won't feel the pain of life anymore. Then he finds a short numbing of his senses. Okay, so what is all of that about? Okay, so the first, and whether I'm gonna be quoting Avatar in saying first you must be able to feel nothing and then you'll be able to feel everything, um, or if I need to go to the conversation of at some point who it is that you are is a collection of the pieces that other people have given you. And with unpacking that, we're trying to climb into that. There's a very big question of which parts of who it is that you feel most comfortable being you. And whether we're talking about ego death, whether we are talking about the ability to feel, the inability to feel, numbness, all of those types of things, I think the first piece of the conversation is always going to be awareness. Can you, in fact, pay attention to what it is that you're feeling? Is the goal for you to feel what it is that you are feeling in a vacuum, isolated, not interacted with by the world? Or is your goal to not be triggered in the spaces that you end up in the world? Okay? But more so, if I go back to a conversation about regulation where I was speaking about it in terms of, is it the accelerator, is it the brake, is it the clutch? I think it's all of it. I think it's regulation might be driving the car. It might not be any one of the individual pedals that are available to us. It is controlling where it is that we're going, paying attention to how it is that we are when we have arrived, and then deciding when to leave. The same thing that you kind of use your car for. But from a regulation standpoint, you also can't go from 0 to 100 and then expect it not to have some kind of repercussion, because life, very much life. But I, I, in the desire to become empty, I do not think it is a nothingness that is the desire. I think it is a lack of attachment without it necessarily. It probably would be. We would have to call it detachment, because if it's not attached, it is detached. But it is more not defined by the things that are connected, the connections that it is that we form. And I think that can sometimes be a little bit messy to interact with, sometimes a little bit messy to go through, because if the two most important things in a bond are repair and rupture, somebody not knowing how to do either one of those things can be severely problematic to the bonds that it is that they create. You know what I mean? It's a difficult thing, because it becomes a matter of at which point are which conversations becoming negative? At which point are expressions being used as judgments? It's those types of questions. But upon understanding the connection side of things, and anything that you see is something that is a reflection of you, it means that those are the pieces in the moments that the fights are happening, the moments that rupture are happening. Those are the moments that are actually us seeing the ugliest pieces of ourselves in other people, because of us most times, because the mirror changed its image and we don't understand why. And sure, it can be intimidating and exhausting and maybe a little bit of a letdown every now and then. But I think that's also a part of what it is that life is. And the second excerpt that speaks about the piece that he's speaking about is when his friend is arguing with him, to say that he he's highlighting that a lesson that he has learned, his friend is saying he could have only learned a particular way. And he's saying, no, if I pay attention, I could learn this lesson from anybody, because everybody is doing the same thing. The form is just different. So he equated meditation and someone getting drunk at a bar fundamentally is the same thing, if it is to numb oneself, if it is to limit the experience that one is having, which I think the emptiness that a lot of people maybe think about is that, but it's be the sail, not the wind. It's let there be some kind of direction or an output that occurs because of the fact that you are thinking certain things, but do not be defined by it, because at some point the wind will change direction, and therefore so will your course. You need to adapt accordingly, because you are living the day that you are in. You know, so it's a today thing. Every lesson is what can you do today, and the things that you forget to do are the things that end up falling by the wayside and getting lost. So what's the point if what do you do if you are lost? What do you do if you end up lost? No, irrelevant. You can only be lost if you decide that you want to be somewhere where you aren't, somewhere else. And that's more a control element than anything else, because you are where you are, even if you don't exert control. You will exist and need and require certain things, regardless of who it is that you are interacting with, because there is a version of the world that you interact with at most optimal. It is not your job to change the world so that you can be optimized, but it is your job to pay attention to the spaces in which you are optimized, so that you can figure out how to optimize in spaces where you aren't. Because it's not the vacuum. We are not trying to isolate our interactions and not have the world interact with us. Very rarely. I think with a lot of people, they try and reiterate the same interaction with different faces. It happens. It's weird. I think there needs to be some element of change and growth, but not because of the fact that it's something that you are after. But if you do the same thing long enough, eventually you get better at it. So you end up doing more of it, more often, easily, more easily. Those types of things. And then random, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna literally insert the music right here. But before that, I am also going to remember to do a plug finally. Do remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. um, I don't know. We probably need to learn how to have conversations on Reddit. So there needs to be some kind of thread thing that I need to form there. But the podcast is on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, as well as Spotify. The episodes on the audio channels are slightly behind where it is that the video is, but that's just because I'm a one-man band and we're okay with that. This week for music, right? I I have really always fallen for the fact that I can control my mood by listening to the playlist that I put together. So this playlist has been doing phenomenally well in my head. There are plenty of new albums. I have music that I need to slot in, but also I'm trying to keep it balanced and all of that. The first for this week that I am going to put in is going to be Unknown Fragments by my boy Arlo. I'm gonna keep cycling back because they drop music, he, they, them, whichever one drops music so often. I have an opportunity where I can benefit from that, and there's good stuff in there. Latest album is called Unknown Fragments, beautifully put together. Um, we're gonna leave it at that. Second song is Reap by Joao de Silva and Zeph France. Um, then, guys, I listen to different stuff. Like this playlist is all over the place. We got Amapiano, we got R&B and soul, we got alternative stuff. There's indie music. Everything is in here, right? So just be kind. But we got Concrete by Joseph Elias, right? That's the next one. Um, Slightly different to everything else, but great music. Then we have Sipping Slow by Sade Soul, and this is from the new Giveon album called Fields, and the song is Fields, right? So that's where we're gonna go, and it's ironic because there's a song I didn't put on the previous playlist that I wanted to put, and that's got very many moon references as I've been making in the writing. But this edition is called To the Sun, and it is the latest release by Fora. Okay, secret love of music. So what do we have there? That gives us one, two, three, four, five, six. I will give one more, and the last one for this week is going to be Tightrope by Mel's Monday. Again, just sneaking some rap in there. Okay, and if we have the opportunity, do not forget first playlist, second playlist. Tell me your thoughts, give me your recommendations, share your ideas. This week we are also going to do another anime recommendation. I am not doing a Real People show this week. No, because I haven't been watching Real People TV. It's just the stuff I want to talk about are animated. The the recommendation for today is going to be probably an anime that I think is going to make a lot more waves when people start getting onto it. So I will, because we got Obsession right, and we've got these little recommendations that we've caught before everybody else. So that's the kind of trend we're trying to stay on. The recommendation for the anime this week is an anime called Black Torch. At the time of recording this episode, there are only 4 episodes out. Enjoy, be frustrated with me waiting for each episode every week, and if not, I definitely recommend that this is a show that you watch when it is all out. I got caught. I do not like watching anime that is dropping weekly because it irritates my brain, but that's perfectly fine. um that's like my sixth as well, so slowing down is not particularly helping, but we will get better at it, right? That gives us 7. That gives us the music recs, the plug, as well as the anime recommendation. Okay, and then just to cycle it back, I just wanna open. Okay, so with regard to the projecting onto the camera thing, right? The issue, the issue that I have, or the thing that I think that I'm doing, is compensating for not speaking in the rest of the world. I'm trying a thing over the course of the next couple of months, so hopefully that means there's going to be a lot more content. I am going to be kind of focusing on the clips and stuff and making sure that that kind of gets shared. So at this point, tell your friends, and your friends. And if you haven't yet, I would appreciate it so much if you subscribe. The current goal that we are working towards is 10,000 subscribers. I don't have a name. 8. I don't have a name for the squad. The Ordinary Connection squad. Apparently, we 9 are supposed to have this kind of bond situation. So we were going to work on that. And then there is a likelihood that there will be an event. I have not decided on the theme, the focal point, or all of that yet, but I am telling you about it right now so that when you hear about it in the future, you are not caught by surprise. If it is your first episode, let this be the coolest episode that you enjoy and that you listen to. Phenomenal. But then do me a favor, go back and watch the whole playlist. I'd appreciate it. Okay? Our focus for the next couple of months is going to be watch time. So if there are things that you think I need to do better, things that you think you would listen to longer, and things that you could do without, let me know because I'd love to hear that kind of feedback because apparently we need to open ourselves up to critique. That is why we feel nervous. But with regards to the projection that it is that I'm doing, I am trying to understand if I am envisioning a bond that I do not yet have, if I am taking the best parts of the bonds I already have and projecting them onto the camera and then speaking, because even the person that I am comfortable being speaking blah, 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 in front of the camera, that is slightly different to who it is that I'm choosing to be in the world because of the fact that I'm trying to guard my energy. Now, yes, you have to spend your energy living life, da 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 da, but I am meaning it from a place of if I'm in the car and I'm regulating, I also need to understand that my car can have petrol and I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to drive anywhere. I don't need to see anybody. I don't need to do anything. And in turn, that will also have some kind of value because making oneself empty is not out of a desire for nothingness, but out of a desire to not have external things in control of how it is that you are moving, which is kind of where we are right now. It's what we're focusing on, it's what we're working on. So that is, I guess, what I will call the homework for everybody. If you made it here, I want to say thank you. But do try. It is difficult. I have not been having the funnest of times trying to implement a lot of the lessons that it is that I'm working on. But I will say this, it actually does get a little bit easier if you do it consistently, daily. If you remember when you were a baby and you learned how to walk, from that point the goal was how to get better at walking. There are things you currently are learning how to do that one day you will be great at as long as you continue practicing to do that. Okay, so let me give us our writing prompt for next week's episode, and then yeah, we can say adieu. Um, ooh, 10, even 10, man. Okay, anyway, a scar teaches you a lesson. What does it say? That's fun. That's gonna be fun. Okay, actually, I can go straight into writing that. Okay, as always, you guys have been great. Stay curious, stay kind, stay connected. That is the Ordinary Connection out.